What's going on YouTube? If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button to help support my channel. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I winterize or close my above ground pool. This is some of the things that I'm going to use. I have to use a shop vac. I'm going to use a leaf net, a gizmo. I don't know what size you want, a small one or a big one. Some channel locks I'm going to need, a screwdriver. You might need a little tool like this to get your where your water goes, your inlet is on your pool. To get the eye out, I'm going to use this. I know I need this, but you'll see what I use that for later. And then I'm going to have a cap to put over top of it so water doesn't get in my inlet. And I'm going to use some Teflon tape on my gizmo. You're going to need I'm going to use a Winterizer kit. Some people don't use any Winterizer kit, but I do. And this was definitely not my first pick. I like the one I got last year, but because of all the craziness going on in this world, I wasn't able to get that one. Now, recently I've looked and it looks like it's available now, so I'm going to put that down in the description. Plus, along with some of this other stuff that I bought, I'm going to put down in the description. And you might need some kind of rope or 550 cord or something. Definitely some test strips. You probably already have them from testing your water through the summer. Maybe some clamps to help put on your cover. Now, I bought a new cover also. I have a new cover and a new leaf cover because my cover kind of was looking in rough shape. So now that I got everything nice and new, I thought I'd do my video on this. But if you're looking for a new cover, the thing you're going to want to look for is a high scrim count. It's called scrim, S-C-R-I-M. I think this is a 12 by 14 scrim count. It makes it a lot heavier, but the higher it is, the more expensive it's going to cost. And you're going to want either a really nice big inner tube that you can maybe buy at a garage to put in the center. Some people use pool pillows. I'll have a picture of that here on the screen. Before you want to start closing your pool down, a good temperature to close this down at is between 60 to 65 degrees. I would say maybe closer to the 60 degrees, like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and here's Celsius. And also, before you start closing, another thing you could do is put all your pool toys away. Now, next thing I'm going to do will be to take out my ladder. Let me zip these screws out quick. Yep, it's going, because I don't want to miss this. Yep, 1, 2, 3, go. Is it warm?
They're heavy.
Go. You didn't even get any.
I will. Well, don't worry.
What are you doing? Why would you jump, get in, and get back out? Come on. It's warm? Oh, you got one. You got one. Okay. See? You're tough. It's pretty warm, huh? There's one. Two more. Yeah. Oh, is there? Okay, get the other one. I thought there was 3. Glad I got my kid. That water's freaking cold. I've been in water with ice in it before, so it's colder than this.
Can I do cannonball?
You can do a cannonball. Do a cannonball before I take these out, or unless you just jump out the side. You're freaking nuts. That water is freezing. You're crazy. Everybody tell him thanks for freezing his butt off. Show him your flabs. Before you start putting any of your winterizer chemical in, make sure you use your test strips or your test kit. Make sure your water is already correct. pH level is correct, your chlorine level is correct, your alkalinity is correct. Just make sure all that's correct. If you don't know exactly how to do that, I have a video I'll put here in the top corner. All right, after you know your water chemistry is all correct and you got your ladder out of your pool, then now at that time that's when I'm going to add my winterization kit that I bought. I got this off Amazon, or you can go to your local pool store. Maybe they sell a winterization kit. Whatever kit you get, I'm not going to really go over that in depth, but just Just read the directions on the box. It's pretty simple. The kit that I bought last year I really liked, so like I said, I'm going to put that down in the description. If your pool has a high and low setting, I would put it on the high setting. This is my last bottle stuff I got to put in. This is algicide. It seems like every kit you get should have an algicide. This one I got did not have that. All right, after you get all your winterization chemicals in from whatever kit you decided to go with, most of the kits are going to want you to circulate your pool for like 4 to 6 hours. One of these on here even says to go overnight, so I think I'm just going to let mine go overnight and I'll finish closing this down tomorrow. All right, after you get your ladder out, you put all your chemicals in, and you made sure you waited about at least 4 to 6 hours or maybe overnight so all your chemicals were mixed in your water good. While you're waiting for that to circulate around, this is a real good time to do one last vacuuming of your pool to get it vacuumed out really good. You don't want to let any of the leaves laying in the bottom of your pool, because if it lays in there over winter, you might have a leaf stain in the bottom of your pool and you're not going to get that out. So it'd be a good time to give it one good vacuum. All right, now the next thing is, if you got your pool vacuumed out and you took all the leaves off the top of the water real good, now we're going to slowly start taking that water down below either your skimmer or where your water inlet comes in. The water needs to be about 1 inch or 2 below whichever one of those is the lowest. And so before I start siphoning all my water out, I am going to backwash, which is going to take that probably down as low as I can, and then I'll use my siphon. All right, I'm going to backwash and rinse. That's what you should be doing every time you backwash. Backwash for about a minute or 2, and then rinse for about 30 seconds. All right, if you have a cartridge filter, you might want to wait maybe till the end, and then you can take your cartridge out, spray it all off, and do whatever you got to do with your cartridge. I don't have a cartridge filter, so. All right, after you got as much water as you could out of your pool with your pump, now you're going to siphon some out. And you're going to need something to stick on your hose, because if not, your hose is just going to fly out of your pool. So take your hose and just start pushing it straight down in the water. You got to fill this hose up with water. And when you're siphoning your pool out, make sure you don't siphon it right down next to your pool, and try not to siphon all the water toward your neighbor's house. When you pull it up out, put your hand over it. Okay, I got a 4x4 holding my hose, and I got all my water going to the back of my property, not toward my neighbor's house or under my pool. All right, while you're siphoning your pool out, do not go too far from your pool or forget that you're siphoning out, because you could siphon all your water out of your pool if you forget. Very important, do not forget that you're siphoning your pool out, because we only want to take this water down about 1 inch to 2 inches below the lowest fitting on your pool. So your inlet or your skimmer, whichever one's lower. Mine are pretty equal, so I'm going to go a couple inches below them. All right, now I'm going to want to winterize my skimmer. Take your gizmo, take some Teflon tape, and you're going to hold it like this. You're going to wrap your tape around this way. Not this way, this way. I already have some wrapped up around mine, so you wrap it around that way. That way when you twist it onto your threads, Maybe put like 3 or 4 wraps around there. It won't unwrap. So then you screw that down in. Make sure you get it screwed on straight. And I actually cut a couple pool noodles that I'm kind of maybe overkilling this, but I'm going to put them down in here too. In through where the water would come in. Just in case, if you get any water in there, that gizmo in the pool noodles, if ice forms in there, that'll give it a place for it to give and not break your skimmer. You don't have to buy a whole new piece for that. Let me show you what that looks like. Alright, that's how I do mine. And the pool noodles will stick out the front a little bit. But it gives it a place to give in case some water gets in there, it starts freezing up. And then I'd recommend putting your lid back on. My lid kind of locks on. If your lid don't lock on, you might want to put a little bit of duct tape over it. Maybe even put some duct tape over top of the hole or something over this hole so water doesn't get down in there in case it rains. It's nice to try to keep out as much water as you can out of that, or you can just periodically check it throughout the winter. That helps keep the water out of mine. Keep everything in your little basket and put that away so you know where everything's at when you open this back up. Alright, while I'm still waiting for my pool to drain down a little bit more, because I'd like it to be about maybe an inch or 2 below right here. It's about an inch below my skimmer, but this is the lowest point, so I want it about an inch or 2 below this. But I think it's below that enough where while I'm waiting I can put my plug in. Unscrew your eye, and if it comes out, be careful you don't drop it in your pool. And you only got these 2 little pieces. You still got 1 more piece in there you're going to have to take out. That's when I got to use this tool. Just be careful you don't drop it in your pool. Okay. Before I put my plug in, since my pipes are hard piped in, I got to blow mine out with my shop vac. Make sure all the water's out of it so it does not freeze and crack my pipe. So if your pipes are hard, make sure you get all the water out of your pipes. Now I can put my cap on. I got a little silicone grease. I'm just going to grease up this ring that's on here a little bit. So it'll last longer and it'll come off easier when I open this back up. I'll put some of this stuff down in the description in case you either want to look at it, see what I got, or buy it from Amazon, whatever. Now this, I'm just going to put that on there hand tight. And I might take my pliers and just go a little bit more. It doesn't have to be super tight. Probably hand tight would work, but there. Enough. Alright, now where my water goes into my pool is winterized, and my skimmer is winterized. Got all my chemicals in there, they're all circulated. Got my pool pillow in. Now we just got to winterize our pump and our filter. Take all these pieces, put them in your basket. I'm even going to put my tool in my basket so I know where it's at. Now don't forget, don't walk away from your pool and forget that you're siphoning it out. You don't want to siphon this out. You don't want to siphon all your water completely out of your pool. That'd be very bad because you're going to end up having to put more water back in. You don't want to let this thing completely empty over the winter. Now that we got our skimmer winterized and our water inlet winterized, we can unhook our filter and unhook our pump and drain all the water out of it. Alright, if you're still draining your pool, don't forget. But while you're draining it, if you have somebody else maybe to watch it or set a timer so you don't forget. You can unhook all your hoses Now I have some hard piped hoses. Some people don't have hard piped hoses, but I recommend unhooking them all, get all the water out of them. And you can either store them away, or like mine will stay hooked to the pool, but I have all the water out. I'm going to put that over that lightly. But I'm only lightly tightening that back up just in case somehow a little bit of water would get in there. I want it to be able to drain out. Now I'm going to take this hose off. I'm going to leave that hose hooked up. There's all the water's out of it. And you can take it off if you want. Take this lid off, take your lid off, and there should be a rubber gasket in there. Make sure that rubber gasket's still in there. Take your basket out. You can clean this out. Anything I take off I'm going to store in there. I got one of my rubber O-rings that came off of here. I just put it in there. You want to drain all your water out of this. Drain all that water out. While that's draining out, I'm going to take my couple screws. This is how my pump is hooked to the base of this. You might have 2 or 3 screws in here. You might want to have a sip of beer. Not too many beers. Alright, that's unhooked. Pump is unhooked. Still going to put stuff in this basket. Take them 3 screws that you just took out of your base. I recommend putting them back in so you know what holes to go back in when you open this back up. I would take your pressure gauge off. In the spring, before you put this back on, make sure you put new Teflon on this. But if your pressure gauge is working good, try to tap on it. Make sure you get all the water out. Put that in your basket. And some people take their sight glass off too. See, there, I can get mine off. There should be a little rubber gasket for that too. Put that down in your sight glass so you don't lose it. Put that in your basket. Alright, now if you have a Hayward filter, put it to winter. If you don't have a spot to put it to winter, just put it in between a spot like this. If you see, that's about all my winter spot does. It just puts it up in the air a little bit. That'll keep this valve open inside. And the last thing you're going to want to do for this is take the drain plug out. And let that drain. Now you probably should have a thing up inside there that'll keep any of the critters from going in there. So just leave that in and that'll drain slow. This should have a rubber plug down inside of it. Put that in your basket. So put some foil in there. That way none of the mice will mess with that. I'll try to make that a little tighter. Alright, that's it. I got stuff in my basket. I'm going to put that back in my... Just put the lid on. I'm going to put this... I store this in my garage. I put a little foil in that. And I let it all stick out. A little foil on that sticks out. And I even put a little foil on these 2 top holes because you don't want no critters or bugs making nests in there. And I have it on winter. And I still have the cap off. Now that may take a couple days for that to drain, don't worry. So hopefully you're not doing this when it's like 30 degrees outside, because you don't want this to freeze up. Unless you, if you can, I guess you could take that inside if you have a garage that doesn't get down below freezing. But I just leave mine out here. Now if you have this out in the sun, you may want to put like a small little tarp or something to cover that up so the sun doesn't get on it. Mine's under my deck. And you also, if you have a ladder or steps like I do, you may want to cover them up so the sun doesn't get on them or store them inside. If you have a valve and you're hard plumbed like me, keep your valve open just in case water does get in there. Alright, now it's time to, you got your pool pillow in, and make sure your pool pillow is not fully inflated. You're probably definitely not going to have one like I have, but if you have one of those blue ones, or make sure it's just inflated maybe, say 75%. And if you have an inner tube, that's probably no big deal because that really gives a lot. That'll just help if you get ice build up on your pool. Now I'm going to try to put this cover on with one person. Me. Normally I would have my wife and my kids out here. Yeah. This is what you got your clamps for. If you get a little water on top, that's no big deal. I'm going to probably put a little water on anyway just to keep it down so the wind doesn't blow under it as easy. I'm going to show you another trick at the end of this video. Alright, I got it somewhat up. Now take the wire that probably came with your tarp, and I would undo all this. Don't try to start putting it in, you'll have a freaking tangled up mess. Alright, you got these little eyelets all the way around your tarp. There's going to be two right next to each other, and then there'll be a big span in between it. Well, you want to go down one, and then up through the other one. You want it behind that little spot. And you want the cable to be on top of the really big long spot. So when you put this tarp around, you can have this cable holding this part down. See, I'm behind these two little ones. And I come back out this one. And I'll be on top of this long piece. And then down in. Do that all the way around your tarp. Alright, when you're putting your little turnbuckle thing on like this, you got a hole on both sides. Take one of these wires, stick it through that hole, pull that all the way through there. You're going to pull it all the way through anyway. Stick it through that hole, pull it all the way through. So you don't got to wind all that up. And take your other piece, put it through the other side, and put it through that hole. And start cranking her up. And you're going to start cranking this up a little bit and walk around the pool and just keep checking it. Alright, I got my pool cover on. It takes a little bit of finesse. It's nice if you have some help. Now, I even put a little pool noodle thing around that little turnbuckle thing and stuck the things up just so that doesn't rub on my liner. Now, if you don't have a deck, yours might look a little nicer than mine, but it's a little hard to put on because of my deck. But this is what you're going to want to do. Pull these pieces down in between or down underneath that wire all the way around and make sure that's tightened up. Maybe come back out in a couple days and check this again just in case the wind didn't change it. All right, give me 2 more seconds and I'm going to put on my net so you can see how my net is on this in case you want to see that. And at the end of the video here, I'm going to show you the one secret that I can't do, but maybe you can do it. All right, I got my leaf net on, and this was my plan with the leaf net, is it's up off of my cover because I have trees all over. So you can see already how the leaves are going to land on it, and I'll probably be able to take my blower out here and blow these leaves off. All right, here's a picture of my other tip. I can't do this because I have a deck, but if you buy, I'm going to put it down in the description, you can get on Amazon and buy a little roll of this. It's pallet wrap, and you take that and you wrap it around your pool 2 or 3 times and just cover this whole section. It would really help keep your tarp, or help keep your pool cover and everything on this all winter long. I seen that looking at some of the other videos online, and I don't think I can do it because I have a deck, but if you have no deck, I think that would work awesome. So I'll put some of that down in the description along with everything else I've used in this video. So please leave me a comment down below letting me know if this video helped you out, or just leave me a comment and let me know where you live. I'd like to know where some of the people that are watching my videos live. I live here in Pennsylvania, Central PA. Thank you very much. Give me a thumbs up. God bless. And I hope you have a nice warm winter in your house.